Well, hello everyone. This welcome to my channel. This will be I'll be starting this here off as far as getting into these different episodes that I want to present to you all, especially the starting off with the folks who are new to XPlane as far as the basic elements that's needed in order to start off with successful flying and enjoying it. I want to first off kind of do a little scale out as far as the direction that the plan is to go with these episodes. So first off, I'm gonna start off with just a general kickoff to get you all familiar with these sites, the websites that's actually really helpful in establishing and building flight plans, and also the really top end plugins that are really helpful in order to have a successful flight. Also, I want to go ahead and explain as far as the type of aircrafts that we will be flying through these episodes. And as a bonus, also I like to also get into planned events. VATSIM has planned events on a regular basis, but I would like to have a tutorial on actually flying an event within the VATSIM environment. So let's get started here. First, I'd like to share um, initial website that I usually go to when I want to start planning a flight initially. And that website will be SimBrief. So here's a demonstration for SimBrief. I'll go in and execute a start of a flight that I want to execute here. Let's say, as an example, I want to fly from Washington Dulles to Boston. What we'll do here is, go to SimBrief. Okay, let's detach. Let's dispatch. Going to create a flight. In here, where we want to go is we want to go ahead and start filling in the information here. It's about the basic information about your flight, airlines, flight number, just depart from Dulles Airport to Boston. Alternative, I'm sorry, airport. All automatically updates there. Okay, let's look at our airframe. What airlines do we want to use here? Let's go with a type of aircraft. Let's go with hmm, let's choose the Boeing 747-8. Okay. As you see, a demonstration provides us the initial runway, 01 right, the arrival airport runway, 04 right, and also importantly our flight plan. Okay. Make sure your RAC is updated as well. The RAC, make sure that if you have an older version of RAC, it will display older charts. So as a reference, make sure you have the latest and greatest updated ARAC, which at this time is 2103, which is current. Again, keep that updated. So you see the demonstration here as far as the flight plan. It shows the the from and to airports here, the entire flight plan there. Now, when we want to scale it out completely, let's generate. Let's generate the flight plan. Okay, generate the flight plan metrics on it, so we can see much more detail that's going to be required for this flight. Okay, and here we have it. So what does it give us here? So give us our cruise altitude, which you see there, which is great. We'll plug that into our FMC when we program our flight. Um, and here you are. It's the paperwork plan as far as our flight. A lot of information there from top down. What I normally do is sometimes I will, if I'm in a rush, I just want to download my flight plan to my FMC on my flight. What I do is I go here and download it into Explain 11 or whatever the preferred method is as far as the format to pull it over into your FMC. Um, What we're going to do, I want to try to get used to actually doing this manually, do a manual process as far as updating the FMC, which brings a lot of fun into it. Actually, a little more natural than just pulling it over from the database and pushing it to FMC. Again, this will be actually a shortcut to expedite your process as far as building a flight plan. But when you actually build out the waypoints, in airways and what have you, it actually brings a more texture to the realism to building that flight plan. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and do a print. Let me show you what the print PDF looks like on this. So this is really helpful. When I'm on the ground and I'm building out my FMC here, general information here is very useful. You're going to see this come up a lot here. This general information here is what would be needed to build out that your FMC flight plan. You got your amount of passengers that I recommend you to use, your payload, zero fuel weight, the fuel that's recommended for the flight as well too. So yeah, so very valuable information there. Okay, so that'll be the start there as far as as far as the first tool I would use in building my flight plan. All right, so the next thing I want to share will be the another useful website that I use is FlightAware. Okay, at times you may decide, hey, let me try to figure out where I want to fly today. Make it kind of interesting, kind of put a mix to it. FlightAware is very interesting because what it does, it captures the real line flights as far as the occurrences that's is taking place in real time. So this is a great tool to again heighten the experience here. It kind of gives you more flexibility as far as nature of catching different flights. Give you some good ideas. So let's just look at this. When we go down here and we hit random flight, that's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to give you a random flight. All right. It doesn't even have a determination as far as a unique aircraft. It's going to be total random. So that's a plus there. You hit that random. You see, and here's another random one here. This is yeah. See this international flights as well too. Another random here would be just keep going along. You could just keep plugging to see what comes up as far as an interesting random flight that you may want to take. Okay, all right. So that's very helpful. So one thing that also say for instance if you're located at if you want to pick a destination from like LAX and you want to see what flights are taken off of LAX that day and capture a flight in real time as well too. Go this route. Go ahead and choose the airline itself. So what we're going to do is we'll browse by airport. Okay, and put in LAX, Los Angeles. There we go, and there we go. Departure and arrivals out of LAX. Look at this, Anchorage, Alaska. Um, as an example, Salt Lake City International Airport. Let's just pick one of these here. Okay, there's a flight from Los Angeles to Salt Lake City. Now that would be actually a good flight experience there. So that'll be another I think a good method to choosing a different options there for your journeys. Right. So again, this tool is very helpful. We'll be using that as we go into our few other episodes here too, as far as choosing options on flights to take. Okay. So we got FlightAware. Let me see what else here we have. I wanna demonstrate the VATSIM world environment Vanta- Fantastic.com. Okay, here we go. All right, folks. I'm gonna tell you, this really pulls it all together. We've got all our pilots out here in the world jointly flying together. We got air traffic control here. You're communicating with air traffic control. As you can see, these destinations that are highlighted, they're controlled by center control on those airspaces there. We have pilots here flying in an environment here that's actually being monitored by air traffic control, right? We get all the way down to Boston Tower is online here. So this really and heightens the voyage here, the experience as well too. We're going to be using this quite a bit. We're going to be using this as far as again choosing our destinations and also communicating with air traffic control on some of our flights that we're going to be planning in our episodes. Okay. One other thing I want to also show you here is if we go to airports, we can see which airports right now within that environment that has the most participants flying out of. Okay, there's Vienna, Austria. They have 23 arrivals. Sort departures. Sort departures. We see that Heathrow, London, we have 32. I'm sorry, 31 departures there. So then again, you can then join those areas where there's a lot of interactive activity there. Again, to really allow you to interact with other pilots that's in the environment. Okay. One more thing I want to show you here is the events. This is pretty cool here. These events here, scheduled times, what have you, participate in these events. This is something I also like to do in one of the episodes as we get further along here, is to fly one of these events here to one of these locations, and with one of the aircrafts that I have here, and just enjoy it. There's a learning curve here. This will actually also show those of you how to properly communicate with air traffic control, communication, what have you. So this again is a really good tool. Good tool. So we will be using that as well too. Um, so let's talk about some other things. I want to share a tool that I feel that is pretty is pretty fun to use. It's called Orthro 4XP. Orthro 4XP. It took me some time to really understand it, but when I got into it, I realized that wow, this really brought the realism to the environment that I was flying in. All these areas that you see that's darkened. What I've done is I've actually pulled those overlays into my simulator. And what it does, it takes the standard environment that you're flying in, which is generated by packets of digitized drawings, what have you. It pulls it into a real live snap image as far as what that environment will look like if you're looking at out of a window of an aircraft in real time, as actually the true picture of it versus being drawings or what have you. You still have that mixed within your scenery, but this actually really allows your scenery to really pop and come live. We're gonna go through some tutorials on this as well too, but this really it turns your simulator into I tell you, it's almost as if you're really flying a real flight. So I want to pass this on. Again, this is Author for XP, and we'll be doing demonstration on this here down the road here. So let's talk about another tool I have here. So with SimBrief, it links up with Navigraph charts. Okay, Navigraph charts is what we will be using for our flights, so as far as creating our plans, our destinations, and building it out on FMC, being able to trace and track your flight as well too, from all waypoints all the way through. This is a really great tool. Once you build your flight plan out of SimBrief and you execute, as long as you have your account joint with Navigraph charts, you should be able to go straight to flights here from SimBrief, as you see there, and it pulls your data into Navigraph charts. So when you click on that, boom, That's your flight plan that was pulled from SimBrief that you built. So here it is. With this flight plan, it gives you all your necessary charts needed for your flight, your airport. Once you're on the ground, you can hit that enable movement map and actually trace and track your flight while it's on a taxiway, while it's there at the airport. And then you get your parking routes or what have you. You got your parking gates, information on the airport. You got your SIDs. You got all your SID plates there. You have your stars as well. You have your approaches. Okay, got your approaches. A slew of information here. Okay. Um, so one thing that's very useful is the charts that actually can actually go right onto the map. Once you click on your overlay, select show chart, and it puts it right on your map here. Now, if you're flying actually actively in a flight, you will actually see your flight trail on this pathway to your climb altitude, to your cruise altitude, and then it gets to the point of when it gets to your your star for your descent into your airport, right? And that pulls it up here, which would be a Roebuck 3 arrival. So if you want to look at an overlay of a Roebuck 3 arrival, here it is right here. While your flight is on this path, it will let you know as far as what the required flight levels should be crossing, along with what knots you should be flying at, which is speed, as you going into your arrival at the airport. Okay, good information. Good information. Your destination airport there too. Okay, your destination airport being Boston. You can start playing out as far as your parking, where you want to park. Um, you got your runway that's automatically loaded here too as well. You can change all this information too. If the winds happen to change, you can, change that runway if need be. If you need to change that approach runway to, say, for instance, if you need to come in via the JFK or what have you. But instead, if we want to choose, let's go with arrival, the um, ILS approach for 22 left. We'll click that and then look at what that approach would be on runway 22 left, right? And pull that into your map as far as edit if need be, if you want to make that change. So again, this is going to be very helpful. We're going to be using this quite a bit for our flights as well. Um, and let's see what other tools we have here as far as our first episode that we want to start off with as far as introduction. Um, okay, we'll get into the meters as far as your ATIS. ATIS is really important. We'll get further into that. We'll talk about fuel planning as well as we get further into it. So this is the basic information to start off with that I definitely want to demonstrate and show as far as our flight planning initially. Let me just go over a few aircrafts that we will be experiencing through the episodes. We're going to be flying the Boeing 747-8. We're going to be flying the Airbus 380, Airbus 330, Airbus 350, the Boeing 767-300, Boeing 787-9, the Boeing 777, the Embraer 145. We're also going to be flying the Challenger 300. We're going to be also flying the C-17 Globemaster. We're going to be flying the F-35B fighter jet, and also we're going to be flying a supersonic flight called a Tupolev 444, Tu-444. It's a supersonic aircraft in which we'll be flying across the Atlantic on. We'd like to introduce that to everyone as well too, and then we have a prop here. We have a King Air C-90. King Air C90. We have to get a prop in there to also include. So that is just a kickoff here, ladies and gentlemen, as far as um, the direction is planned here for the following episodes. Um, Importantly, it's look at the plan, look at your plan, get your plan in place before your flight. It'll make your flight much more enjoyable. Plan out your routes. Use these tools here to make sure you have all the necessary information prior to your flight. Preparation is everything. It's the key here. It definitely makes you much more prepared when you're on the ground and you're speaking to air traffic control. You submit your flight plan. You will request clearance. You make sure that you align all those elements in place in preparation for your flight. So we're gonna get much more into that. For now, folks, we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and prepare the next episode, which will be a general flight from and to a destination, and we'll walk through the flight. I'll be making a determination as to what aircraft we're going to use, and then we'll go from there. So, describe, and we'll continue on. We'll look forward to our ventures here in the future. So, thanks to everyone. All right.